Hello YouTube, my name is Eddie and welcome to my channel, Eddie in Reading Land. Today I thought I'd talk about my tarot journey. The last video that I made, I said that I would do a video with a little bit more of information about my tarot journey and how I got started. And today I decided that I was going to share that with you guys. This time I don't have any notes or anything. I'm just gonna tell you guys how I started and where I am and where I'm going with my tarot journey. But it did begin very, very early on. Like I said in my previous video, I started learning tarot when I was 8 years old. My maternal grandmother started teaching me how to read the cards using a regular pack of cards. She didn't teach me how to read with a regular tarot. That came a little bit later. But the reason why she started teaching me with a regular pack of cards is because of a story that my mom tells about me when I was even younger than that. Apparently, according to my mom, I was playing with a pack of cards, and I think what my mom says that I was doing is that I was shuffling the cards on the ground and putting them back together in an order that I like, or in the order that they were in. I'm not really sure what my mom wasn't very sure what I was doing, but she knew that I was playing with the cards. And at one point, my mom said that I took one of the cards. I look at the card, and then I look up at my mom, and I told her that my paternal grandmother was sad and that she needed help. And I think at that point also I started crying. So my mom was very confused first and scared about what was going on. But later, my mom said, recounting the event to my paternal grandmother, she did in fact say, my grandmother did in fact say that she was feeling very sad and she did need some help. Not really sure what that what was happening with her life. My mom never told me. But I think because of that incident or that event with the regular pack of cards, my mom had to tell my grandmother that I did that and I showed some sort of connection with the cards. So yeah, I mean, when I was 8, I remember that we were living in New Jersey and we were in a very small apartment, and my mom wasn't there, and my grandmother she used to play cards a lot, and at one point she just gave me the deck, and she started associating cards or I started associating cards with feelings and keywords. And I think that was the point where my grandmother thought that I was a little bit more than just a regular kid. She did in fact also was the person who taught me how to read when I was 3 years old. So I'm sorry, 4 years old. Unfortunately as well, once my grandmother took out her tarot deck, which I didn't know that she had one, and I don't think my mom did either. It was a Marseille deck. And she started. I remember she started telling me about the cards and what they represent, and I remember being a little bit scared because of the imagery. But I mean, it was my grandmother, so I just trusted her, and that's how I first started learning tarot. Also, unfortunately, my grandmother passed away months after that. And I never got to finish learning with her what her associations were with tarot. And I remember very little. I was very young, and I remember being fascinated by the imagery in the cards, as well as scared, like I mentioned before. But yeah, I unfortunately she wasn't able to finish teaching me how to read the cards. But at that point, we returned to Costa Rica. I'm from Costa Rica, by the way, guys. And I didn't touch another tarot deck until I was about 12. 12 or 13 years old. I remember my mom got me one because I wanted one, and I started to get interested in the cards and the imagery in the cards again. And I'm so thankful that my mom got me that tarot deck. It was the Tot Tarot. It was not a Rider-Waite-Smith. I started learning tarot with the Tot. I remember she also got me a book to go with it. I unfortunately don't have that book anymore, but I do remember that it was a book with all of the systems in it. It had the information for the Marseille, information for the Tot, and information for the Rider-Waite-Smith. And that's how I started to read and learn a little more in depth about tarot. Through that book and many others that I've read throughout the years, I learned how to practice with the cards, how to interpret the cards, how to work with the cards so that they're able to be a source of light and blessings and focus and information in my life. I think after 2 years of me just reading up on tarot and taking notes and just absorbing information like a desk magician, I started reading for others. I remember that my first reading was for my mom, and I remember that she was very impressed with the reading and how I read the cards. And then from then on, I think like all of us we just start giving out readings to our family members, friends, co-workers, or actually classmates. I did have some classmates that were interested in tarot, and it's always very fascinating and very otherworldly when you're in high school. But yeah, no, and I've kept reading and learning tarot like that throughout the years, and I got a lot of experience reading for others that way, especially for friends and family, and especially in my family where, I was able to express myself in that way, and there was no judgment on that. Or if there was, at least it was kept silent or hidden. Yeah, and I've always been very studious, and I've always been a bookworm. I'm a bookworm. I don't only read about tarot. I read novels, and I read other nonfiction other than tarot. So it's very easy for me to associate what I read in novels and other nonfiction with tarot, and also to understand people and their behavior and what they're going through just by observing. And what's fascinating about that is that I tend to pair people and events to tarot cards in my mind. I don't usually say it out loud. But yeah, I mean, that's also another way that I find that it's helpful for me to develop and get better at my skill as a tarot reader. But it wasn't up until I was 21 years old that I started reading for others and actually getting some sort of payment for it. When I was 21 years old, I was able, thankfully, to move out of my house in Costa Rica, which is very, very, very rare for that to happen. In Costa Rica, we're people that tend to live in tribes. I call them tribes. It's very family oriented. Even after you're married, you still live with your parents. It's your partner and you living with your parents in Costa Rica, which is something that I find that I am not able to do. I was also fortunate enough to be able to study and work at the same time. But also, unfortunately, Costa Rica is a very poor country, and I started reading for others so that I could help myself even more. Rent in Costa Rica is actually very cheap, but with how much I was earning, it was not enough for me to pay for rent and utilities and other things. I was thankful already that I was able to move out of the house and get my own apartment, but I knew that it was going to be hard for me. And that's when I started reading for others. I was 21 years old. I think that it's also very common. We start reading for others very early on in our 20s. At least most of the tarot readers that I've spoken to, that's when they start at least receiving some sort of payment for it. It was fascinating when I started reading for others and just getting to learn about what people truly are interested in or worried about. Most questions that I had was romantic relationship questions. I think that's the most common question that I had when I was back in Costa Rica. Even here, when I started reading for others here in the United States, it's just probably the most common question that we get asked as tarot readers. It's about romantic relationships. But yeah, I gained a lot of experience. I also, through reading for others, I learned that not because there's a structure to tarot or there's a specific meaning to a card, that's what that card will mean all the time. I like structure and I like order and I like things being a certain way. And through reading for others, I learned that there are so many layers to the tarot and there are so many layers to the meanings of the cards that we need to learn how to expand our mind and expand our knowledge and be humble, which is something that I struggle with, and know that we don't know everything and that, one day a card in combination with another card may mean something else, or even by itself. Even when I do my daily draws, and I journal about it, sometimes I get the same card twice in a row, and I know that means something different. Even just one day apart, or it could mean something different. So yeah, right now, where I am in my tarot journey is here. I decided that I was going to create a channel and provide my view on tarot and present it to you guys. Hopefully some of you out there will share the same feelings, share probably the same stories or similar stories. It's not going to be the same, but at least it'll be similar for some of you. And my hope right now is for me to be able to create more of these or these videos and try to work this out as something that I would want to do even more. Yeah. And where am I going with my tarot journey? Well, I also draw a little. Or I've been known to draw and I like drawing, and I think moving forward, what I want to do is to create my own tarot and present it to the world. Honestly, I'm drawing and doing this for me, but obviously I do want to share it with you guys, and also whoever is interested to acquire the art and the tarot that I'm creating. That would be amazing. It's a lot of work. I have I think about 12 or 15 cards done already. Well, sketched already. They're not done. They're not. I promised myself that I was going to sketch at least half of the tarot before I start coloring them in and working with them in that way. I do know myself, and I know that I tend to start a project like this and then leave it behind for a little while and then take it up again. So I think I want to challenge myself and be able to produce something after all of these years of just absorbing information and studying the tarot. And I want to do this for myself. And I actually have some examples for you guys. I'm going to show you 2 of the sketches that I've done. Like I said, I've done way more. But let's see if I can use the camera to show you guys. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but this over here is the Ace of Wands. If you guys can't see it over there in the bottom, I'll just do this as well, just so that you guys can see. I'm not really sure if this is gonna pick it up. No, this is actually worse. Okay, so we're using the camera below. Okay, but as you can see, this is a phoenix, and I know that the cards seem quite large, and there's the wand over here. The wand's over here. And you can see the wings. As you can also see, there's some annotations over here. Probably legible for all of you, but I understand what it says. But yeah, that's my Ace of Wands. There's a reason for the Ace of Wands being a phoenix. And the next card that I wanted to show you was going to be the Ace of Swords. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, so as you can see, the Ace of Swords is a dragon. And there's the sword. There's the hilt of the sword, actually. And you also be able to see the annotations here, but it's just for me to know. And I will give out that information later once I decide to release the tarot. Once I'm able to finish with it. But yes, that's where my tarot journey is taking me, to creating these sketches and hopefully working on them even more when I'm able to achieve my goal of it, or of at least having 40 of the cards sketched out. Yeah, I think that tarot is a lifelong process. I don't think that you ever stop learning tarot. There are so many books out there about tarot, and so many books that I want to read still about tarot. And I think that as long as we're learning and as long as we're applying ourselves and developing our skills and our connection to the cards, then we're not stagnant. You know, we're not the hangman. We are the phoenix of the Ace of Wands, or the death card, or the judgment card. I know that phoenix is a very popular symbol and illustration for a lot of the cards, and you know, it's all a learning process, and it's a learning development, and as of now, I see myself continuing on this project and hopefully learning even more. Let me know about you guys. How did you guys get started with tarot? What are some of your processes? What are you doing right now with tarot? Where do you see yourselves going with tarot? I'll be glad to read whatever you guys want to comment down below. But thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully this video is of your liking, and you also like the drawings. But thank you so much for coming to my channel, and you guys have a great day. Bye.